Rook d8, that is an impossible move to find.
Yeah, agreed. I think maybe if Magnus had an hour by process of elimination, but King e7 much more human. He's going, as Simon says, racing towards his pawns. And the problem is, I don't know if you should take, because King d6, as you mentioned, Simon, this pawn is going to drop, most likely. So maybe you should still go for this pawn on a4.
I think maybe two still. Keep the pawns on the board.
But once you haven't played it once, right? Will you play it the next move when you've actually lost the tempo? I mean, psychologically, it's hard to play, yeah, because you're giving yourself more complications. You now got 3 pawns or 3 ways you can take a pawn, right? And you got to decide upon one of them, which is, you know, a little bit trickier.
And he does it.
He finds the right move.
So keeping his chances alive, he wants to keep those C pawns on the board, goes for the A pawn, and now also up on the clock. How easy is this? An easy convert or requires world-class technique?
I think it's going to require technique, but I think you made a great point about the clock. As long as he's not down on time, you know, he's not also playing behind there. Oh, this is a nice little trick. He wants bishop c4.
Oh, he's found the idea, just one move too late, maybe. But as you say, Danny, there's a threat coming to c4.
Well, rook a2 is also a threat, winning a piece.
Dual threat.
So is there a knight takes pawn and a check or something? I'm just trying to think how you deal with this.
Yeah, let's show this. As Danny mentions, for example, if the white king moves forward, then suddenly a pin, and white here is forced to bail out, I think, with a move like knight takes c5, but this would only lead to a draw. Instead, if you do take this pawn, the most obvious, then suddenly, yeah, as you say, Simon, it's not easy to take this one. If you give a check, I'm not sure where the black king goes.
Just be careful.
I guess you go back. Yeah. As you say, be careful. Don't move forward. You walk into a knight fork, those pesky forks. But yeah, it looks like still impossible in this position to defend the e2 pawn. Counterplay.
Such a hard moment to be a young player facing Magnus Carlsen, right? You're both getting under time pressure. You're in a must-win spot, and he's doing what he does as far as making it messy. Okay, but Nodirbek is up to the challenge. He finds the most accurate approach, which includes giving up the e-pawn to activate the king.
That's a great move. I just didn't see that move. Yeah, bringing the king in and supporting your passed pawn at the same time, right?
Beautiful.
That's really nice play, yeah.
Coming in with the tempo to the center of the board. He attacks the c2 pawn, and that's a mistake because the white king can jump forward.
Yeah, can continue marching. I think the issue was black's bishop was lacking squares. He wants to capture the e2 pawn with his bishop instead, just to get it out of the way. But evaluation bar says blunder, and nice move from Abdusatorov.
Brilliant move.
He finds it. And the point is if rook takes c3, rook c5, and you pin the bishop.
Oh.
It's brilliant play, yeah? I mean, he found it so quick as well.
So quick.
The match is on.
The match
We get a game 4.
This is...
Wow. I felt like it was going to be a match in 3, but Nodirbek Abdusatorov, he is on his way to do the impossible. Make a comeback for 1 round at least against Magnus. Can he still convert this? Because both players at 2.5 minutes. David, how close is he to actually winning this one?
I think he's on the brink now. Just 1 or 2 more accurate moves, and he should have this in the bag. Let's just show again the genius of this last knight retreat. Knight... stepping back is always the most difficult visual move, but knight d3 clinched it because rook takes c3 now does just walk into this pin. Next move, simply king to d4 is going to win the game. For example, if black tries to keep things alive, at the very minimum, you can grab a second pawn on h5. I think that's even better there. But yeah, we see instead catching up with the game. It's still a 2-pawn advantage. And yeah, as long as he doesn't allow too much counterplay with the rook going behind, he's got this in the bag. He drops his rook back to a2. What a move.
Brilliant technique.
These are the kind of games that that earn your stripes as maybe a future world #1. The fact that you didn't go quietly into the night, you were down 2 games, and you rose to the occasion. It doesn't mean he's going to complete the comeback, but the comeback has to start somewhere. It can only start with 1 win. And these are the kind of games that, like, show Magnus, like, hey, like, I'm ready to play with you for the years to come.
And there aren't too many players who can beat Magnus in an endgame.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's it. He's outplayed Magnus in an ending.
He's
pulled
a Magnus on Magnus.
He has, yeah. I mean, how many players outplay Magnus in an ending? There's a handful that can do that. And if you can do that, then it's quite phenomenal, actually. So.
Yeah, and his 2 previous wins against Magnus came in queen endgames, and actually I think Magnus is the best queen endgame player of all time. He always seems to know where to put the queen, when to start running with kings, but Abdusatorov outmaneuvered him there twice. So he shows he's capable, and you can tell Magnus has almost given up on this. I'm not a body language expert like you guys, but it looks like he's just playing moves out of inertia here, and all you need to do is combine when to push your pawns as white. White's rook looks like it's perfectly poised, just defending, and protecting the king from checks. Here we go. The pawns are going to start running now. It's a matter of time.
Got 2 extra pawns there. He's got less than a minute and a half. Magnus with 2 minutes. But Magnus isn't going to give up. And getting a winning position against him is half the job done. He is going for the pawns, forcing Nodirbek to take a decision. Does he actually just ignore the threats on the pawns and think about advancing his own c-passer?
I think it's too early to do it just yet, because only because the black king can come over and help. I think if there was a way, if the black king was cut off by the rook, if your own white king wasn't in the way, maybe. But I think you'll need to play a move like rook d3, if I had to guess first. Just defend the pawn. Rook d3 also has another purpose, which is it prepares rook c3. Okay, he doesn't go for it, but that allows rook c1, so I'm surprised. Maybe he's just repeating to gain time. But I think if you go back to that same position, rook d3 is the move.
I mean, you can go king d... Oh, he's going this way.
I'm worried about his clock.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's 17th piece.
He's trying to transform his advantage here. He's going for black's kingside pawns. He's happy to use the white c-pawn as a distraction. Will we see him play a move such as h4 now, maybe? Or will he just push his pawn? c5 for glory. It looks like, there we go, he keeps it for now. And yeah, maybe black's just not in time to create counterplay right now. The white king's keeping everything protected. And yeah, he might switch his focus. He's made his rook and his king passive here as white, but I think he's going to go for black's kingside pawns.
I love how he switched up the king and the rook, right? Because the rook now cuts off black's king from trying to defend the c-pawn from queening. Meanwhile, white's king is defending all the kingside pawns. So a nice structure there by Nodirbek. But how does he make progress? Because for now, black's rook is stopping the c-pawn from advancing.
I know who comes to the rescue.
Who comes to the rescue?
Harry.
Harry.
Always. H4 is another reason why the rook on d5 is so good, because when you play h4, you force the 5th rank open. That rook can gobble up the h5 pawn while protecting the c5 pawn. I think h4 is white's threat.
And you've also got Freddie as well. If you really want to start using them all, you could push Freddie a couple of squares forwards at the same time.
Harry and Freddie.
But I mean, this is quite. I mean, the white rook is in now a beautiful place. It defends everything. It cuts off the black king. And you can start using other bits, can't you, on the board, like like you say, the H pawn or something like that. So it is, of course, just a win, isn't it? Just a matter of time. He's giving up the pawn now.
Now that's interesting. Now's your idea, Tanya. Now the timing was right. The king is cut off.
Perfect timing. Yeah, you can't take the pawn because the c pawn would be unstoppable then.
Yeah, let's just show that really nice move, sacrificing a pawn temporarily. Abdusattorov, he dropped his king back to d2. If this pawn had been captured, then c6. And yes, the rook can get back just in time, but suddenly the other rook is there to face off against it, and white makes a new queen. And, OK, the game has progressed. He couldn't go for this. And, OK, he's trying to create counterplay. Harry did arrive on the board, but this one looks like it should just be over. White can play moves like king d3, kicking away this black rook. This pawn is going to drop very shortly. OK, he takes it first.
I think king d3 was, anyway, expecting that, but this is also going to be good enough.
Magnus is going to be super angry with himself, how he let this one slip away. In a Catalan, having everything under control, and then suddenly in an endgame, he gets outplayed by Nodirbek.
He's going to be annoyed, yeah.
I mean, but again, it also, I think he will tip his hat, right? He knows that Nodirbek is a fighter, and there's a reason we're all hyped up, right? We're not making fake drama here. This is a big match. They know it.
He wanted to wrap this up in 3. He wanted to assert his domination, and that's going to annoy him, Danny, that he wasn't able to do it.
I agree.
Maybe it was just
look at that.
deflection. Don't take that black rook. Black would have made a new queen, but of course the pawn disappears instead. And now it's just, again, simple math. 3 versus 1 on the king side. And rooks behind past pawns, we've said it before.
Baby.
It's running that H pawn. Harry, Simon.
Called it.
Always a winner.
Always a winner, that guy.
Always a winner. Winner, winner, Harry dinner. And it's going to come. I mean, you might as well play it on just in case this position, but don't spend too much time on it. And yeah, I mean, we should talk about the last game really, because now Nodirbek is going to have to win with the black pieces, but he created a lot of chances in the last game with the black pieces.
It was close.
It was very close, and I'm not, I don't think it's going to be a walkover by any means. I mean, as this game has shown, we were assuming this would be a draw, and he outplayed Magnus. So I don't know. Could be an amazing comeback if he gets the next one.
He beat Magnus with black in Tata Steel Masters. He's done it before.
Yeah.
Yep.
He will believe. And, OK, a check. Both players leaned forward. I thought he'd resigned there, Magnus, but yeah, all rook end games.
17 seconds.
Yeah, there's still a little bit of the outside chance on the clock, right? So he's...
Still can't write it off. It's really not over till it's over against Magnus, but Abdusattorov doing everything right. And now the rook will move on to the 5th rank.
Magnus defending really
Magnus is
tenaciously,
defending really well. And if the rook goes to the 5th or 6th rank, the rook will come back to f1. So you enter the king first. But now there's rook f1, rook f4. Obviously, okay, he goes for it. Nodirbek must have calculated it. Oh, I was worried about this. I was worried about rook f4.
What's happening here?
Oh, my gosh. King g5.
Black just moves the king.
King g5 guards the pawn.
And Magnus 17 second, he finds
he
it.
found it. Oh, my God, Nodirbek's in trouble.
But now the g-pawn drops. What's he done?
There.
He's going round with the white king, is he?
Wait.
But now the e-pawn drops.
Oh, my God. Magnus knows it. He just gave you the Magnus-like nod.
Oh, poor Nodirbek.
There was me writing it
Oh,
off.
look at that.
Oh, my gosh.
The pain.
No.
And Nodirbek knows he was so close. Oh, he smiles.
He's laughing. How did that slip?
I can't believe it. What a fight it was by Nodirbek. But it's really not over till it's over against Magnus Carlsen. And he does it again. He
does
survives.
it again. He offers a draw. Nodirbek